understand. So with that saying, let's move on to another section. Here we'll start with what is called debugging in the browser. I think I've got a chance to show you guys already how to debug in browser. So how do we do debug? Specifically JavaScript. Yeah, we have to open what is called as developer tools. So every browser, be it Chrome, yeah, or you name any browser, all of them have shipped part of their software. They'll have these developer tools. The most common option is you right click and inspect. It will open up the developer tools for you. And this developer tool is available in all the browser, respective of all the which browser you're using. You will be able to find it everywhere. Now, yeah. So now if you're able to find it here, then here you have got what is called as sources panel. That is where you will see about JavaScript. You know what I'm saying? Here is where you will see about JavaScript. So now this chapter talks mainly about what are the different options we have. Correct? So how do I open this first of all JavaScript source panel? You see, you got sources tab. Once you open this dev tools using inspect, yeah, this is available in all the browsers. All the browsers will have almost like same options. Maybe, yeah, as for a similar purpose. Maybe here and there options are a bit different, or maybe Chrome has less. Others might have a small set of features. But you will find all these things in every browser. And this is a source panel where we can actually debug JavaScript. Understood? So, and very important is debugging is also a very important process. See, now you have learned the basic concepts. But tomorrow, if you don't know how to find the issue, you don't know how to find, where it is going wrong, right? So how will you learn, like, or how will you become a good programmer? Okay, let's understand some more sections with respect to debugging. So this is a sources panel. But once you have sources panel, there are some sections to understand. So you will see under page, okay. So whatever JavaScript and HTML files are loaded part of that particular website. For example, now JavaScript, if I have opened, it will give me that you have loaded this index.html from so and so, and that has a hello.js file. And once you click on that, you will be able to see that file. Complete source code, what is there in this particular JS file, you will be able to see it. Okay. Okay. And then you got what is called as file navigator, code editor, JavaScript debugging. So this is called file navigator. The second section is called editor. This is a section called debugging, JavaScript debugging panel. Okay. So there's also a console here actually. You all know that in the debugging panel we have got a console. Yeah. So this console is there. There is one which is a tab here, but there is also one more. Once you have put, you can press escape actually. It comes up. You see now? Console is coming up here. There's a console which is coming up here. If I press escape, you see console is going away. This is a console you can use for inspecting what is there in the variable. Yeah, you can inspect the scope actually. There is a console. Yes, there is one console which comes here also. Both are almost same only. Yeah, but this console, the earlier one which I opened, this will help, if I'm debugging something. If I'm debugging something in the source panel, now I would like to log something into the console. Here I can use this console along with the source panel. Next thing, we have got another important thing what is called as breakpoints. What is it? Breakpoints. So breakpoints basically, within your code block, you can place some markers. For example, you can, if you click on this line number, if you click on line number 3, if you click on line number 8, you get these breakpoints. And also in the debugging panel, you will be able to see that there is a breakpoint which are actually placed. Now, what are these breakpoints? Breakpoints are those places where if at all this function is executing or if at all execution is coming at to this point, then it will pause. The execution will pause at the breakpoint. Meaning, so that is where the execution is going to break. It will not continue until you resume it, until you click continue. It won't, you know, it won't execute that line at all. If you put 4, then it will not execute the line number 4. It will just pause at that point. At that point, you can actually go into scope. Yeah, you can see the call stack. You can even watch some of the variables. Yeah, so you can do some more debugging. Like first thing is you'll place a breakpoint, then you can inspect scope to see what all is there, what is there in the variable. Okay, call stack, meaning which function has called this hello. Yeah, where is the control right now? So where is the execution has stopped? So all that is possible here. It's also possible to put some conditional breakpoints. So you can read on it like how to place these conditional breakpoints. Yeah. So what did we understand? We understood it is possible to place some breakpoints and do that. Now let's see. Ajay has written some program. Let's take that from his GitHub. Okay. Yeah. Good that he has pasted here only. Okay. So let's take this function itself. So let's understand how to place a breakpoint or how to put those breakpoints. Okay. So for that I I mean I can't. Okay, I think I can place a breakpoint. Let me tell you how. So I'll just put one console log here. Okay, why? I'll just tell you. Okay, now if I say multiply, this is a function which is created, is available now. But the thing is, yeah, you see what happened now? It was available and just recall that function. Now if I click on it, it will take me this into a kind of an editor here. Yeah. So debugger, under this it's an editor. I can add this, I can add something more here actually. I can go on actually. Oh, it is not allowing here. Yeah, there is another thing called as scripts actually. Okay, earlier I used to have this option called scripts. Okay, this is not allowing me. But fine. But what is the use of opening like this? Yeah, is I can place the breakpoints now. You see, I can click on this line numbers. So this, if I click, now I can inspect at this point what all is available. How do I, first of all, make this breakpoint work or see this in action? I select, yeah. Now I have to invoke this function, correct? So I have to invoke this function. So I will say, yeah, I mean, I'll not do anything now. I'll just go to the console and I'll invoke this function. I place the breakpoint, yeah, where if I click on this, it takes me here. Here I have placed the breakpoint. In the console, I'm going to invoke this function now. See now, the execution will stop at this breakpoint. The line is not yet executed. Why? See in console log, I don't see anything. If it would have executed, I should have seen the text called test. And see, as I told you, I can inspect what is there in the local scope. I can also inspect what is there in the global scope. I can also check what is there in the script scope. And here you are seeing whatever panel you are seeing here, this complete panel is actually called as complete panel is what is called as the debugging panel. See, this is the debugging complete panel. Earlier it was kind of in a minimized version. Now I have put actually into I have taken it out. I have kind of what is called as dock into a separate window. Undock actually, not dock. It is undock into a separate window. See, at this point I can see now there are breakpoints. Now I can see the call stack. From here somebody invoked by like this. Now the current execution is in this at so and so line, correct? We can also see if there is anything you want to watch. Let's say I would like to see what is the value of A. Yeah, it shows 2. I want to see what is there in B at this point or as and when changes. See, it is 2 and 3 only. So likewise, so we can use this debugger to hide in developing actually, aid in debugging the the programs. So browser has got nice set of tools. Now this I showed you for some script which I added in the console. But then usually JavaScript will be part of the websites, correct? That's why we are learning. For example, javascript.info is load noded. It has a lot of files. In this for sure there will be some JavaScript files. Yeah, in this for sure there will be some JavaScript files. Okay, how do I open? So under source panel you can also type what is called as Control P to open some JS files. Okay, .js. See, there is a xhr.js, there is a throttle.js, there is a spinner.js, there is a delegate.js, index.js. See, now I can open that code and see what is there inside. I'm able to completely see it. And here also I can place the breakpoint if I can open it like a .js file. Whenever this code is executing, it will pause here. It kind of comes and pause here that okay, now I'm going to execute so and so. And here you can open all the JavaScript files which you have in editor and then place a breakpoint. Then if once the execution has stopped, then I can see what is going on. Okay, so this is on using the breakpoints. Yeah, how to use breakpoints and how to see and all that. But one interesting thing you have to observe, let's say I'll again invoke this function. Okay, I think now the breakpoint is not there. Well, it has hit. Now you see. So I get these buttons actually. Resume button. I get step over next function call. Meaning just complete this function call. And this is called step into next function call. Now go into that function to see what is happening. This is going to help. Let's say if I have defined one function, then I'm going to use this. So more on this later. I mean, if you start debugging, I think then you will understand what are each of these options. Now through this, you just get familiar that there is an option like this to debug. Yeah. See, there's a debugger pause and I'll say resume. Then it is stopped and I get the result along with the string. Okay. So this is what is called as breakpoints. Now there is one more way to put this breakpoints. These are actually called as debugger command, debugger statement also. Meaning without placing breakpoint, if I just write this word called debugger, then the function execution will pass. Let me show you quickly with an example. Function add a comma b. I'm not going to place any breakpoint. All I do is I just write this keyword called debugger and then I'll say return a plus b. That's all. Now I will simply call add without placing any of the breakpoint. You see, neither here I have placed any breakpoint. Yeah, not placed a breakpoint here, as you can see. But I'm just going to invoke it. Now add 3 comma 4. See, because I put the debugger keyword, the function is execution is passed at this line. Same way, again I can use any of these buttons. and then I can continue with the rest of the lines to execute. I can go line by line execution. If I use this option like this one, I can do one by one line to see what happens in first line, what happens in second line. So likewise, line by line, I can do a tracing. Each line I can do a debugging. But for that, debugger is one more option apart from putting the breakpoints. Yeah, hope so far you're following and trying to understand okay how these options are there. Yeah, learning all of this option one day just like this. Now I told you, I'm going to tell you, it becomes sometimes overwhelming. You will feel like okay there are too many things, but what is the best way? Yeah, like how as I'm showing you, you start off with one function, add one function, create one function, and then put debugger. Try to place day breakpoints. See you once you call from this console how this is going to behave. See what all is visible under scope, call stack mainly. Breakpoints you have anyhow. Put it under watch. So this is how you get familiar yourself with this. Otherwise there are so many options. There is there is no reason why you will not get confused if you are seeing for the first time. And you may not be able to remember whatever I am saying now. Yeah. So here again they are telling the watch section means what, call stack means what, the scope means what. They are explaining you that what is there in each of this section. Watch means what. So here you will have to click on this plus and you have to input an expression. So the debugger will show its value automatically recalculating. It's in the process of execution. So in the watch basically you can put an expression. Let's say a plus b, a minus b you want to do. You want to see the value of a. So all those variables you want to see. So you just add it, list it. Then it keeps updating as and when the line a program or the function executes line by line, it is going to update its value. Call stack basically shows the nested calls chain. For example, now you have a function called say. Say is calling alert, but say is called by hello. Yeah. So now if you see the stack, you see it says first thing is this function at line number 10. This is being invoked, and then hello.js line number 4 is where right now the execution is. So it will show me the list basically, stack list, execution stack. And third one is scope, which you're I think already familiar, which you will tell me what are local variables are there, what are outer variables or global variables which are defined outside the function. Tracing execution, I think this will be an homework for you all. Yeah, I was just telling you what is a resume button, what is a step over button, step into button. So you'll have to take one program, maybe this itself, and do use all these ones. Yeah, use this key also, and read what exactly it is written here. Yeah, so then you will understand how you can execute line by line. Yeah, I'm not going to go over and tell you each of these options now itself, but yeah, do read and come. Maybe we can discuss tomorrow also. Maybe we will show you one function and then I'll explain you step by step tracing of that program. So we used to do even tracing to understand how a particular program works. Sometimes we will not be knowing the logic, what it is doing. That time we would like to understand what it is. That's the purpose of tracing. Another use case. Huh? So next we have got logging. Huh? So all of you are already familiar that we have been using this statement called console log. This is also one of the way to help you debug. So if I use console log and there is a particular function is executed, so nothing is visible on the UI, correct? Nothing is shown in here. but everything is silently logged in the console. You can see now also this website whenever it is running. So there are a lot of things which are going inside the console. So this will not be, this is all hidden from the user, but this will basically help me for this website whenever I'm developing or whenever this website is running. I can I can see what kind of flow the user has taken or if there are any information that I would like to know as a debugging. Yeah. So basically this helps me for debugging. So console.log. See, I want to know what is how this for loop is executing, what are all the values at each loop. So before I move on to or before we conclude on this debugging, let me also tell you that console has different functions. Console.1, okay, console.log, yeah, console.info. So likewise we have different consoling function. Console.log is one more, yeah, one info log, and also we have got error. There are maybe I think few more which are there. Console.table, you want to display something in a form of a table. So why I'm saying this, just to tell you these are different ways to log some information. If at all you think it's a error you want to log, then you can put error. If you want to put info, then you can put info. But frequently use, or more often we use console.log. Okay, so this is about the dev tools that we have, or the debugging, specifically the JavaScript part of it. As you're already familiar with this dev tools, now this is how to debug in the browser. Any question on this? You guys have any question, anything?